Rolling off the production line for the first time last week, a new challenger to looming domination of our caravan market.
We've got to fight back, and that's what we've done.
The 2026 campervan market just did something nobody predicted. It buckled. Brand new models are launching at thousands below their projected MSRPs, and insiders are whispering about why. Pre-orders stalled, dealers pushed back, manufacturers panicked. And now, some of the newest vans hitting the US in 2026 are arriving in price brackets nobody thought possible. This isn't hype, it's a correction playing out in real time, and early buyers are about to feel both the pain and the opportunity. Because while the market cools, 5 specific campervans are dropping into grab-it-now territory, quietly and fast. Let's kick it off with number 5, Knaus Boxstar 600. When projected values fall before launch, it means demand softened faster than manufacturers were prepared for. Its reduced launch figure signals market pressure rather than pre-planned. Expectations once placed this unit near the 80,000 category. Then distributor sheets revised figures downward after pre-order interest weakened. This pivot shows how supply forecasts misaligned with real demand. Dealers refused heavy allocations, fearing another season stuck inventory. Those decisions tightened margins and forced manufacturers to rethink positioning. What emerges now is van priced lower than original intent. Price is not only revealing, timing exposes deeper market fatigue. When projected values fall early, it signals broader hesitation distribution. The Boxstar 600 stands as first marker shift. Beneath that number lies reasoning dealers will not mention. Softer show floor activity, tightened willingness to stock borderline units. Rising holding costs further discouraged speculative ordering, creating downward leverage. Manufacturers adjusted to avoid warehouses filling with slow, compact floor plans. The design itself remains familiar, but aside pricing tells truth. Earlier predictions placed this model among higher-tier imports arriving. Updated documents now paint clear picture of trimmed expectations region. That picture aligns with recent reports of waning demand districts. Buyers stepping back forced everyone chained to reconsider margins. This shift does not ruin Boxstar, but reframes its purpose. Under the skin build still offers solid craftsmanship balanced layout. Yet compelling part lies in what new figure represents today. It reveals how manufacturers are responding to tighter conditions market. The lower entry point shows calculated move to prevent spirals. Without that move model risked landing in an overstocked segment. Higher financing rejections pushed brands to protect velocity wherever possible. The Boxstar therefore becomes benchmark for observing upcoming adjustments elsewhere. Design strengths remain, including practical footprint suitable for varied travel. Interior layout follows familiar formula, offering space efficiency without flash. The sleeping arrangement feels balanced, supports comfortable extended usage required. Storage solutions built into frame give practical function without brackets. The wet bath remains compact workable thanks to thoughtful arrangement. Engine output maintains enough strength to handle varied terrain overstressed. These practical elements keep model grounded even as prices reshape. Anyone watching shifts carefully unit reflects larger forces behind decisions. Longer lead times, softer reservations translate into flexible launch strategies. The Boxstar exemplifies that shift arriving lower than earlier projections. Revised valuation shows strategic effort to keep model moving steadily. The logic behind repositioning speaks louder than any promotional language. When pricing shifts early, it indicates hesitation within financing channels. Hesitations cascade downward, affecting everything from stocking numbers, guidance. This model therefore offers more than features, acts as barometer. Interpret price correctly, and it becomes easier to anticipate adjustments. The lower figure is not temporary noise, but structural response. That response aligns with rising floor plan stress across districts. Conditions tighten manufacturers' hedge by trimming expectations to maintain throughput. This is why Knaus Boxstar 600 tells more impressions. Beneath familiar shape sits clear indicator of shifting priorities. It signals year where pricing may continue drifting downward demand. Watching this shift closely allows understanding of how market behaves. The Boxstar price acts as reference guiding expectations for arrivals. Manufacturers adjusting downward early rarely reverse course without sustained surge. That makes this pricing window important for evaluating true direction. When imported compact arrives, trimmed it generally foreshadows wider cuts. The Boxstar becomes useful for reading timing before deeper reductions. Such reductions often follow inventory build when early optimism collides. Present revision already hints at sellers preparing to clear stock. Considering these dynamics, Boxstar 600 represents pulse check moment. From From here, broader patterns become easier to read, launches continue. Each adjusted figure adds clue, revealing where pricing stability settles. And Knaus Boxstar signals clearly that manufacturers are bracing conditions. Its placement on this list reflects more than affordability, trajectory, and with understanding path toward the next model sharpens. Malibu Van Comfort 600 DB. There is a particular tone the market takes when manufacturers begin adjusting their plans before launch, and the Malibu Van Comfort 600 DB represents that shift with absolute clarity. This unit was originally forecast to enter the landscape at roughly $71,000, according to early distributor estimates circulated in late Q3. Yet the revised figure places it closer to $68,000, and that change did not come from goodwill or optimism. It came from hesitation. Dealers across several regions pushed back on expected stocking numbers after seeing reservation softness stretch through summer. Those stalled commitments created friction, and the friction forced the brand's hand. When that kind of downward revision appears on pre-allocation guidance, it means the pressure is real and immediate. The Malibu Van Comfort 600 DB sits at the crossroads of shifting demand and rising financial caution across the industry. It is compact enough to appeal to those who prefer maneuverability, yet fully equipped enough to function comfortably during extended use. Still, the most telling detail is not the layout, the features, or the finishing touches. It is the repricing. Launch figures rarely drop unless dealer sentiment is measured and uneasy. This one was trimmed before first arrival, which almost always signals caution underneath the surface. Dealers avoid tying up capital in units that fall into the uncertain middle tier, and the Malibu was positioned directly in that narrowing band. Inside, the layout shows clear emphasis on functional placement. The two-burner cooking surface sits neatly beside a well-proportioned sink, giving enough working room without requiring elaborate mechanisms. The compressor refrigerator, mounted at a height that avoids deep bending, reflects careful design choices. The dinette area feels honest, built around straightforward seating and a reliable swiveling arrangement. Nothing feels excessive or ornamental. Everything appears intended to be useful rather than decorative. The sleeping space sits at a low, natural height and provides a stable resting platform without complicated folding systems. Storage remains steady and predictable, with compartments set into areas that avoid unnecessary strain. Mechanically, the Malibu Van Comfort 600 DB relies on a familiar foundation. Its engine performance sits in a class that balances power with predictable long-term reliability. Handling remains steady across varied terrain, and while the chassis does not chase luxury sensations, it delivers a reassuring, grounded feel. These elements support the vehicle's practical appeal, yet the price tells the real story. When a unit with these fundamentals drops in expected launch value before appearing on the lot, it signifies more than a price strategy. It represents tightening confidence among dealers who monitor buyer behavior month by month. The downward adjustment makes sense when considering recent floor plan reports circulated among dealership groups. Carrying costs have climbed, credit approvals have softened, and impulse purchases have declined. Units priced above $70,000 have shown slower movement, particularly in regions where financing standards grew stricter across late season. A realistic manufacturer cannot ignore those signals by trimming the Malibu Van Comfort 600 DB into a lower bracket. The brand aims to keep throughput steady rather than letting inventory accumulate and lose momentum. That approach reveals an important truth. When pricing compresses before launch, further adjustments often follow once the first shipment cycle passes and dealers assess how quickly the initial stock moves. Price reductions rarely reverse. They typically expand. The Malibu's revised figure, therefore, becomes a leading indicator, pointing toward where the next round of adjustments may occur as the year continues. This specific model demonstrates much more than simple affordability. It shows a manufacturer making early defensive moves. It shows dealers holding firm until numbers align with actual demand. It shows a market recalibrating its expectations while maintaining enough caution to prevent overextension. And as this recalibration unfolds, the path toward the next unit on this list becomes even clearer, revealing how each brand adapts to the weight of shifting conditions. If you want more breakdowns like this, go ahead and like the video. so it reaches others who need the numbers. Subscribe if you want the next updates the moment they land, and share your thoughts below, so trends stay transparent for everyone. Adria Twin 600 SP. There are moments when a new model enters the market, and its price tells a much deeper story than the brochure ever will. The Adria Twin 600 SP is one of those moments. It arrives with a launch figure, positioned near $65,000. Yet early regional forecasts from several distributor sheets had it set far higher. One document, circulated out of the Southwest, listed an expected value of roughly $71,000. And that shift reveals a market adjusting itself in real time. The drop is not cosmetic. It is structural. When a manufacturer trims expectations before the first unit arrives, it signals more than a marketing strategy. It shows pressure building underneath the surface. The Adria Twin 600 SP carries a reputation overseas, built on sturdiness, straightforward engineering, and compact efficiency. Its entrance into this shifting domestic landscape comes at a moment when import costs climb, while retail confidence steadies. That tension forced the brand into an uncomfortable but necessary decision: margin compression. They cut their own expectations to avoid crowding ports, warehouses, and dealer lots with units that might sit through the season unused. That choice becomes clear when examining the revised figures sent to multiple regions after summer reservations slowed. Inside the Adria Twin 600 SP, the design reveals a practical balance. The kitchen layout remains efficient, with a 2-burner arrangement paired beside a well-shaped sink. Storage sits exactly where the hands naturally reach. The refrigerator is set at a height that avoids deep bending. The dinette area uses space with restraint, giving room to sit without unnecessary additions. Nothing feels wasteful. Everything feels intentional. The bedroom arrangement uses a lower position bed frame, a design that keeps climbing minimal and comfort consistent. Beneath that platform, storage compartments run the width of the interior, providing structured organization without clutter. Mechanically, the vehicle operates with confidence. Its chassis remains predictable, its suspension holds steady, and its engine delivers the necessary output without unnecessary strain. It is not built to impress, it is built to endure. That reliability is what many notice first. But the real headline hides in the pricing logic. The downward revision exposes the larger narrative surrounding this model. Manufacturers were forced to choose between holding the line or keeping inventory moving. They chose movement. That choice protects distribution channels from bottlenecking, which in turn keeps units from sitting beyond their ideal window. Floor plan data passed between dealer networks. Throughout the past quarter shows rising caution toward units positioned above 70,000. Financing approval rates tightened. Trade-in valuations softened. Auction clearances revealed significant year-over-year depreciation on compact RV units. Those elements combined into a clear message. Models priced beyond consumer tolerance risk stalling. Manufacturers responded by reducing margins early, so momentum would not collapse before launch. The Adria Twin 600 SP becomes proof of that adjustment. Its lowered figure explains an important truth about the current environment. When a brand reduces launch expectations, it rarely intends to raise them later. Once the first wave of units arrives and dealers gauge how fast each one leaves the lot, another quiet round of adjustments usually follows. These reductions tend to expand rather than reverse. The Adria's new positioning therefore marks the beginning, not the end, of the shift. It signals that pricing corrections are underway and may deepen after initial inventory cycles rotate. This model reflects more than affordability. It reflects restraint. It reflects manufacturers acknowledging that demand does not always match projections. It reflects distributors adjusting strategies to avoid misalignment. And it reflects a market finding its new equilibrium through cautious recalibration. As this recalibration continues, the next model on this list prepares to reveal even sharper signals about where the pricing floor is truly forming and how far the adjustment may travel as the year unfolds. If you have not subscribed yet, now is a good time. The next reports are already shifting, and each update helps keep your decisions grounded in real numbers rather than dealer talk. Stay connected so you never fall behind the market. Burstner Campeo C600. When a model enters the market with a launch figure trimmed before the first shipment even leaves the factory, it deserves close attention. The Burstner Campeo C600 carries that distinction. Early planning documents indicated a projected value positioned near $65,000, yet revised guidance circulated to dealership groups reset the expectation to roughly $60,000. That downward step did not appear from optimism. It came from measured hesitation across multiple regions, where slowed reservations and tighter financing volumes shaped every decision surrounding new compact RV units. Inside the Campeo C600, the layout presents a practical, lived-in logic that does not chase novelty. The dining arrangement is grounded, with swiveling seats that form a stable, familiar gathering space. The kitchen area uses a covered two-burner surface, set beside a mid-sized sink, both positioned to remain easy on the shoulders and wrists during daily use. Storage pockets above and below the work area keep movement minimal. Nothing is glamorous. Everything is intentional. The refrigerator sits lower than some prefer, yet its placement comes from structural efficiency rather than cost-cutting guesswork. Behind that kitchen sits a sleeping arrangement that favors comfort over engineering theatrics. The bed rests at a reasonable height, avoiding awkward climbing, and providing dependable support across extended stays. Beneath it runs a deep storage compartment, large enough to hold tools, seasonal clothing, and the sort of gear that actually travels with people, rather than the gear shown in polished brochures. The wet bath is compact, but arranged intelligently, with an extendable faucet, a workable sink, and a cassette toilet positioned to preserve enough room for basic movement. It does not pretend to be luxurious, it simply does the job. These interior elements matter, yet the significant story surrounding the Burstner Campeo C600 is its repositioned value. Dealer memos from the late summer period revealed difficulty moving units priced over $70,000, especially in regions where consumer credit softened and trade-in valuations dipped. Rising floor plan charges made dealerships unwilling to gamble on mid-tier RV units that might linger. Manufacturers responded by trimming their launch expectations, choosing faster turnover instead of expanded margins. That logic reflects a larger trend. When economic pressure tightens, functional compact units must adapt their numbers to remain viable. The chassis behind the Campeo maintains a steady driving feel. Engine output handles diverse terrain without straining. Suspension tuning provides enough firmness to remain stable, yet enough give to avoid jarring impacts during long highway stretches. These qualities reinforce the model's straightforward character. It is not built for spectacle. It is built for predictability. That predictability becomes valuable when the market enters a phase where high-priced, feature-heavy models struggle to justify their positions, while compact units survive through restraint and reliability. The Burstner adjustment matters because the timing reveals real pressure. A pre-launch revision rarely reverses, and later waves often settle lower as turnover slows. It signals the mid-tier compressing toward the affordable bracket. The revised figure also reflects efforts to prevent distribution backlogs, where unsold compact RVs create costly strain. This reduction is a protective strategy, not generosity, and such moves often spread across competing brands through the entire market. The Burstner Campeo C600 therefore stands as a signpost, marking the direction of the year ahead. It demonstrates how manufacturers will protect their supply chain by lowering expectations, how dealers will insist on terms aligned with real demand, and how pricing floors may continue to settle. And as this pattern unfolds, the path leads directly to the next model on this countdown, where the shift becomes even more unmistakable and the numbers speak more clearly than any brochure or showroom promise ever could. Pussle Road Camp R. Some models enter the market quietly, others arrive like a signal flare. The Pussle Road Camp R belongs to the second group. Its launch figure, positioned near $50,000, is not simply a number on a brochure. It is the clearest sign yet that the compact RV segment is shifting under financial pressure. Early forecasts placed this model in the mid-$60,000 range, according to multiple distributor projections circulated during late Q3. Then the revisions appeared. The official expectation dropped, and it dropped sharply. That shift did not come from marketing strategy. It came from necessity. When a manufacturer cuts expectations by more than $15,000 before dealers even place orders, the message is unmistakable. Demand was misread and must be corrected before inventory piles up. Inside the Pussle Road Camp R, the footprint remains one of the smallest among new entries, yet the design avoids feeling compromised. The compact kitchen holds a two-burner surface beside a sink that maintains enough depth for daily use. Storage compartments line the upper and lower sections, offering structured organization without awkward reach angles. A refrigerator sits near the entry door, small but usable, positioned to avoid blocking movement during mealtime preparation. The dinette arrangement uses an extendable table paired with swiveling seats to form a functional gathering space. Nothing is ornate. Everything serves a purpose. That honesty reinforces the model's appeal. Simple engineering, straightforward layout, and predictable behavior. The bathroom is where the Pussle Road Camp R sets itself apart. Rather than depending on a fixed, tight compartment, this model uses a sliding panel that extends the usable space across the kitchen area when needed. It transforms from a confined corner into a workable washing enclosure by gliding along a floor rail. That solution provides breathing room rarely found in compact RV models. The placement of fixtures within the bathroom shows careful prioritization. The extendable faucet, the toilet orientation, and the drainage layout are positioned with practical usage in mind. They are not glamorous features, but they solve real problems that become noticeable during extended travel. Mechanically, the Pussle Road Camp R stands on a sturdy chassis, paired with an engine delivering solid output. Performance expectations hover near the upper range for compact imports. It handles climbs without hesitation and maintains stable control on uneven roads. The shorter length, 17 feet and 7 inches, gives the model a nimble feel when maneuvering through parking areas or tight scenic routes. That agility becomes a central strength for those who value predictability over indulgence. The unit is responsive, manageable, and balanced. These qualities, combined with its revised launch figure, reveal why this model occupies the #1 position on this countdown. Yet the real story lies deeper than the interior layout or the mechanical structure. The price drop shows manufacturers reacting to signals they cannot ignore. Dealer groups across several regions reported reduced interest in compact imports priced above $60,000. Financing rejections rose. Trade-in valuations slipped lower. Auction data from late summer revealed noticeable depreciation for 2- and 3-year-old compact RV units, many falling into the low $50,000 range. With used pricing softening and interest rates holding firm, a higher launch figure for the Road Camp R would have guaranteed slow movement. No manufacturer wants inventory sitting in warehouses or crowding dealer lots, especially during periods of tightening consumer confidence. Cutting the projected figure to around $50,000 was not a marketing decision. It was preventive action. This downward positioning exposes how the compact segment is protecting throughput, turning the Pussle Road Camp R into a benchmark that signals shifting tolerance across competing brands. A launch set far below forecast reveals real pressure behind the scenes, and early cuts like this rarely reverse. It now marks the forming price floor and hints where upcoming adjustments will land. And that wraps up the 5 cheapest new campervans hitting the US in 2026. Now I want to hear from you. Which model shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this helped you stay ahead of the market, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Bigger price drops are coming. Stay ready.